So people are coming back. Welcome back, everybody. So we completely lost our internet connection. We were in the middle of our build. I've, for the time being, just privated the previous version. That way people can find this, this video right here, find the continuation of the stream. I'll put it back up. If you wanted to watch the beginning of this build, I'll put it back up later today after we finish this stream. But right now I want to make sure that everybody who got disconnected from the previous stream finds this stream here. I actually don't know how to reconnect it using YouTube, and apparently there is no way. So where we were in the build, if you're just joining us, or if you're joining us again, we had installed our SSD, our RAM, and our CPU into our motherboard, which is the Asus TUF-B 850M-Plus. This is actually the white version that unfortunately they don't sell here in the US anymore. I just found out, but it's a really great, nice little motherboard. They still do have the black version available as well. And we had gotten it installed in our case. This is the Montech King 15 Pro, really nice case so far. And we were just about to begin putting everything together for our PSU so we can get our PSU in there and start connecting cables basically. So that's where we're at. I had the 12 volt high power cable in when we lost connectivity basically. And then what did I do with the rest of the cables? I don't think I took them out yet. So then we're also going to need our motherboard cable. We're going to need at least one SATA power cable for the fan and ARGB hub in the back. Also, our cooler might need that as well. Now, this cooler, if you're just joining us, didn't need anything installed in terms of the motherboard because it's actually going to use the existing AM5, AM4, AM3 even standard mount, which are just the clip-on mount. There are a couple of coolers that do that, liquid coolers. So I'm just going to plug this guy in here. It's our SATA power. We're going to plug our 24-pin motherboard cable into the PSU. And again, if you're not familiar with our channel, we have a couple of cats. So every piece of plastic, I make sure to throw it away immediately. Otherwise, Mr. Bear ends up eating things. So we're going to plug in the motherboard cable, goes in here. And then we've got this guy. Let's get the small one in first. Just because it's usually easier to do it that way. All right. Again, big sorry about the internet issues today.
What an adventure it has been. Thank you to everyone who stuck around.
AT&T, I'm very unhappy with them. They were supposed to come and fix this last week on our fiber optic line. And then, I just got a notification saying, we're not going to make it today. I'm like, oh, how convenient for you. That's really all we need for this because we already have our EPS cables attached to the motherboard on the backside. So we'll plug those in just a moment. But let's get the PSU installed. Now this dual chamber case, again, the Montech King 15 Pro, I meant to buy the ATX size version, the 95 Pro, but I just made a mistake. So it looks like, so we got the fan. We want the fan to face on to the outside. So it's going to draw in all the nice cool air. Now how exactly, now should I actually, so it looks like there's a, oh, okay, I see how they've done this. So basically there's a plate that comes out. So this plate comes out, this plate goes onto the PSU itself, and then that attaches in. Did I just do that the right way? Yeah, okay. So we're just gonna grab a couple of screws.
Can I ask you questions while you do this?
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see if the internet lets us.
Yes, if the internet lets us, that's a big, I don't know where all my, I didn't get my screws up for my PSU, but go ahead.
Fire Dog. My system is hand down from my son's. It's a Ryzen 5600 B450 motherboard, 32 gigabytes RAM, and Radeon RX 7600. Upgrade CPU, GPU, motherboard, and RAM, question mark.
So the 5600, how much RAM?
32 gigs.
And what was the speed on it?
Didn't say the speed.
Okay. I'm going to assume it's probably fine. 3200 CL16, especially in this environment. Like I wouldn't just throw money at RAM or anything like that. I think the CPU's fine. It depends on how much you want to spend for your upgrade. Like what is your target FPS, for instance? Because there are some usable parts there. If you want to go, for instance, an RX 9060 XT kind of GPU, RTX 5060 Ti, I think that CPU is fine. The Ryzen 5600, I wouldn't necessarily upgrade it. If you wanted to go like, Jason, I want a 5080, then yeah, the 5600's got to go. And I would probably go with a 5800 X3D when it comes out. But it's going to depend on your GPU power. Can I not just...
Yes, the speed was 3200.
Yeah, 3200 CL16 RAM probably. So I think the RAM's absolutely fine. I'm struggling to find a single PSU screw. Okay, you think there would be... I have like 10,000 fan screws in here. But so let me just go back to the box. I guess I'll have to find one. So here's one. You know what? 3 may do it. So yeah, so like that kind of, where people get stuck on that, first of all, with the B450, you've only got PCIe Gen 3. I would therefore avoid NVIDIA GPUs as an upgrade. Not entirely. You're just stuck on PCIe Gen 3. So I would go with the 9060 XT 16 gigabyte or something that uses the full connector. 5070 would be fine in that regard too. But I would skip the 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte. We're just going to go with 3 screws. I will find the screw later and put it in there, but we're not going to...
We'll fix it in post.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post, exactly. So this guy... Oh, duh. I'm like, this doesn't seem like it's going in. Anytime something seems like it's not going in correctly, it's probably because it's not. So it's always a good time to take a step back and say, what exactly am I doing wrong? And in this case, I was putting, oops, I'm not pressing on it. I was putting it in backwards. There we go. And then we've got 2 thumb screws that go up here, which are kind of nice. Just kind of hold it in place.
Another question from Real.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that if VRAM prices don't drop until after the RTX 50 Super release, NVIDIA will throw us a bone when it happens and lower MSRP again?
No, I think the whole purpose of the Super release is to reintroduce products at the pre-existing MSRPs. Not that they can't adjust them. Obviously, they can do whatever they want. You know, they're NVIDIA. But I think what they're doing now is they're effectively, especially the 5060 12 gigabyte, is a full-on replacement for the 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte. They realize, hey, our cheapest more than 8 gigabyte GPU is $560. That's crazy, right? So they want to introduce something that's closer to the 9060 XT 16 gigabyte and kind of compete better in that range. And it's going to be cheaper for them to do so. 12 gigabyte GPU. They're going to basically go from I don't think the 5070 will go away, the 12 gig version. I think we'll get the 5070 Super will be an 18 gig version, and it will be some kind of 5070 Ti replacement. Now, it's not as fast as the 5070 Ti. It is getting more CUDA cores. You know, it's about a 5% bump in cores. Now, this is all leaks and rumors. Leaks and rumors. But these specs have been leaked about a million times. So I think effectively then that comes in at like $700 maybe. And then you've got something that people can buy and they'll say, you know, the 9070 XT will be faster in it, but they can say DLSS. That's what NVIDIA does when they need to compete. They just come up with something that people can shout out loud, basically. So I think that's the goal for this. I think the 5080 Super is going to be very low quantity. Other way. But I think that's where they're going with all of this, basically. So what we're going to do now, because we are trying to build a PC, is we are going to go ahead and I'm going to get the AIO cooler installed. So we're going to go this way. I'm going to take our cooler out. All right. Oh, this has paste already on it, pre-applied, but the little paste thing has come off, little paste guard. And I would like to stay on there for at least another minute or two while I do this. There we go. Okay. And they come with extra paste too, which I guess is nice. Okay, so then we've got this and the screw set for it.
Non-important asks, and hello. I saw a build of all/most Aorus parts, but rarely see much besides the motherboards and occasional GPU. Do they make very many new Aorus parts? Because besides the motherboard and launch GPUs, and sorry if I'm mispronouncing that.
So a lot of the brands will make, like Aorus in particular, Gigabyte in particular, will make things like RAM, but it'll be, obviously they don't make the RAM. I mean, most of the companies that make the RAM don't really make the RAM. They just bin it, put it on a PCB, you know, slap some timings on it. So Gigabyte will probably have somebody else do that for them, and they'll brand it with Aorus. The coolers are generally Asetek coolers that they have branded Aorus, although, you know, some of the Waterforce ones are nicer now, with the LCD screens and everything to them. They don't actually produce all of that stuff. They have a cooler company basically do a production run for them. Other companies do this too. They're not necessarily, what's it called? ODMs, which is original manufacturers for this stuff. So what else do they make? So they make the GPU, they'll make the motherboards, they will have Aorus branded RAM, although I haven't seen any Aorus branded RAM for quite some time. So, all right, so the question here is, how do we want to do the cooler? I think the way they've got it already pre-set up here is to basically have the cooler go this way, which is fine with me. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get the cooler installed itself, the radiator, I should say. I'm trying to keep the little plastic piece because this actually comes with a paste pre-applied. It's not my favorite when they do that. I usually like to put it on myself, but I mean, I could just wipe it off if I want to be like really cranky about it, but it's fine. Absolutely fine amount of paste. It's good coverage. So what I'm doing now is I'm just taking the cable out so I can route the cable through the back to where it needs to go. I love that these are daisy chained basically. The cable is good construction. It's PWM 4-pin, and then we've got the ARGB cable. So it's just one cable to run through the back instead of like what feels like 14. So I'm actually just gonna run the cable right here. Okay, and then I'm gonna grab some screws, which are right here.
Adish Bar says, Hey Jason, I need a recommendation for mid-range good airflow ATX case. I was going to buy Lian Li 207, but I've seen a lot of users complaining about front fans humming noise.
Front fans humming noise, that could be anything. I have not built personally in the 207. I didn't see that in any of the case reviews, like the third-party reviews. So sometimes that's just like a harmonic thing where if you ramp the fans to a certain thing, just based on the cell size in front, the punches in front, you'll get kind of a weird noise out of it. My recommendation would be run the fans at a different speed. Although I can understand if you've got it set up as like auto and it's just getting annoying. For instance, the P500A here has a little bit of a harmonic noise when the fans ramp up to a certain level. But generally I think Lian Li does a really good job with most of those cases. I just need one more screw here. Okay, don't bend, don't break. Don't try this at home with a 360. Okay, so I've got one screw in. What I usually like to do is get like 2 screws in first and then just make sure all the holes are gonna line up. Now they gave me some washers to put on these. You can use the washers if you want. I find it's generally not really required. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to use these. These are nice flat ones too. I love it when they use the flat screws, by the way. So what was I answering there? I just already forgotten.
Talking about ATX cases. Good airflow.
Yeah. Okay. So I can already see that these are not lined up. So we're going to, so ATX size cases, I really like. Most of these cases these days is not that big a deal. And honestly, if you get a bad fan, replace it. That would be my recommendation. It is Most of the case companies will send you a replacement fan if you reach out to them. And that would be my recommendation, is just go ahead and replace the fan itself if it's a problem. So I've had problematic fans on coolers, on whatever. It happens. Some percent of all electronics fail. Fans fail for whatever reason, something passed QA, but it wasn't really good enough. It sucks when it happens. It's kind of a pain. But my recommendation would be reach out, say, hey, fan broken, can you send me another fan? And most companies will go ahead, they'll just send you another fan. Often they'll send you a couple fans, so if you ask.
Amit asks, with Jason's estimated wattage times 1.5 formula for buying a PSU, I would need a PSU with 860 watt, so 575 watt estimated. Should I then buy an 850 watt or 1000 watt?
Yeah, just my recommendation, just round up or down to the nearest 50 watts. And understand that that's a conservative estimate, and increasingly more conservative, especially now that we have PCIe Gen 5.1 and ATX 3.1, which are basically standards intended to better handle the big power spikes that we were seeing, especially from like the 30 series GPUs, where they were just really even though it's just for a moment, just for a fraction of a second, they were basically just 3xing their power draw, their max power draw, and people were getting black screens and their PSU was shutting off properly because the PSU is like, hey man, I can't give you that much power. So I'm going to shut down because I think something's wrong. So yeah. So that's really what that is designed to prevent, basically. These days with ATX 3.1, PCIe 5.1, those, if they work properly, which we're assuming that they do, that should, and they are tested, but do they fail or do they keep succeeding? Did I get an extra screw? No, I got one more screw here. So I would go plus or minus down to the nearest 50 watts. So 860, I would use an 850 for sure.
Goulier asks, hey Jason, can a 5700X B550M Aorus Elite handle a 5080 or would it bottleneck?
I'm going to probably need you to read that one more time. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to go to, okay. We're just going to go back to the overhead real quick.
Smart.
Oh, I forgot to close all this. Whoops. Probably should have better secured this. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to move this whole thing over so people can actually see. I'm going to switch camera angles to the other side. Here we go. Okay, so this has already paste pre-applied to it. We are going to use that paste here, but first this actually needs an installation plate that goes into it, which I totally just bulldozed over with the case, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Okay, now I have to figure out how this guy goes onto here. And that will probably require me to actually look at the instructions, which I am reticent to do at all times.
Don't worry, Goulier. We'll go back to your question.
Yeah, go ahead with the question.
Okay. 5700X is going to bottleneck a 5080, yes?
Oh, for sure. If you already have it, it's probably fine. I mean, it's not for every game it's going to bottleneck it, but yeah, for enough games it'll bottleneck it. So I would definitely look at... Okay, so that screw assembly goes into there, and...
We're not buffering. He's just reading
I'm just reading the instructions.
He's just frozen.
Yeah, I don't intend to be frozen here. Okay.
I'm paranoid now.
Yes. Let's just try something here. Okay, so riddle me this, Montech. Your instructions don't make a ton of sense. Does this guy just slide in?
Gonna need to slide over so we can see.
Let's just go complete overhead. Oh no. There we go. We got overhead only. So I'm trying to figure out how this guy goes in. And so far, I have been unsuccessful. That's because I'm an idiot. Okay, they come with the Intel one already pre-installed.
That's weird.
I don't love that because who the hell builds Intel these days? Sorry, Intel. Who the hell builds Intel, man? This should be facing up. Okay, so this is facing up. And so I was like, okay, well, how do I use that one and do that one? Okay, there we go. And then what we're going to do is we are going to put on the... Okay, so basically it's got these little clamps on it. And they're going to go that way. So we're going to go ahead and pre-attach. And the hard part about this is just not touching the paste as you do it. So then this guy goes in here. So there's a couple different ways that liquid coolers can be installed. This is definitely one of them. Okay. So basically this uses kind of a press down method as opposed to having its own plate. Okay, so on this side, we're going to go same way. Now, let's see, is it supposed to, yes, it angles out. Okay, so it's an out. So again, the thing I just don't want to do is touch the paste because it makes a mess. Not because it's going to hurt me or anything, but it just makes a little bit of a mess. So I'm trying to screw this one in. Okay, it's seated enough. We want plenty of distance here to play around with. That's why I'm not screwing them in very tightly right now, because this is where we take the pump head and first of all, we don't put the cord underneath it. That would be a mistake. So we're going to latch one side. Then we're going to hopefully latch the other side. He said latch the other side. There we go. Gonna go a little quick turn on there. And then I'm just gonna like 1, 2, each is a half turn. So I'm giving it like a full turn. I may have already tightened this one about as much as it's gonna go. Now the paste is already kind of pretty well applied. I hope that's got good contact to it. I guess we'll take a look in a second. That's as much as I can actually screw them in. Feels like it's got good contact, so we're going to go with that. We're going to take these cables. What I like to do with the cables on this is I like to kind of try and hide them as best I can. I usually run them up to the top, then back through the case and then back again just to get rid of the slack. So this is the total cable. The first thing I always do is just want to unfurl these things and get them all kind of unbent, basically going straight. Kind of key to cable management, especially these cheap plasticky cables. I was complimenting Cooler Master for how the cables they were using last week, and now I'm like, or the other week, and now I'm like, oh, these cables are like kind of trash. So that's okay. Trash cables are fine. We're going to run them up through here. And then I'm going to try and put them under the pump head. And I like to run them like right, although I see the CPU header is right there. So I usually like to run the cables like, and just pin them into the side here. If I can. We'll come back through and do better cable management, but effectively it's going to look a little bit like that. So let's go wide overhead. Okay. Can we get the overhead on the other side? Or, you know, can we point the camera a little bit to your right, sir? Just a couple degrees. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're just basically plugging a lot of cables in. Then we're going to get the GPU installed. So on the, don't want to wrap it around the PSU cable for sure. Okay, so we're gonna go underneath. We're gonna plug in the ARGB to it right here. So it has a fan and ARGB hub. We're just plugging that into the back. I'm going to plug the fan cable in. I'd love to loop this around something. Just want to get rid of the extra slack here. I will later go back and do a better cable management job of it. And then we're going to just plug it into the one that says CPU. Or CPU. CPU fan is the one on the bottom. What is that one over there? That's AIO pump. Okay. It's interesting there's only... Oh, wait, this is the pump. So we're going to plug the pump in to the one that says pump. Wow, what a terrible place for this cable. Okay, I normally like to do this so folks can see what I'm doing, but this one's going to require me to be able to see what I'm doing.
For the folks at home, what's the struggle?
I'm just trying to get my fat fingers into this little tight space and plug the cable in. There we go. Just took a little bit of doing. Okay, because I want the AIO to go to the AIO here. We got the ARGB for the AIO there. We got the fan on the other side. We've got a cable that looks like this. And I'm actually going to, you can do this. You're allowed to do this. Just pulling the cable apart a little bit because I want the ARGB to go daisy chain into the rest of the cooler. And then I want the fan itself to go into the CPU fan header. So this needs to go to two different places that are... Now, could I, in theory, plug this into the controller? I could. I don't recommend it. I want to go into the one that says CPU fan header. Now, you can plug this literally into any fan header and still, in the control software, still get it going. But I just find it's easier if you just stick with that. So I'm going to keep this here.
Bubba Fett has more of a comment than a question,
Sure.
But getting your input on Computex this year seemed like it was AI SlopCon and a bunch of memory that people can't afford. The case modules were cool, though. Just any thoughts in general on Computex?
Yeah, I think right now the entire financial world and the tech media is captured by AI. And as long as they make lots of money, they're going to continue to be the story. I think it's about to crash. It's all about to come tumbling down, which I think is long-term going to be a good thing, but it's going to be a little painful. But
Not financial advice.
What's that?
Not financial advice.
Yeah, this is not financial advice. I don't know what to do with your stocks. I don't know what to do with my stocks, to be honest. Like, if you invest, I'm like, I have no idea what to do right now. Like, it's going to crash. A lot of private equity is going to go down with it. But, you know, this is kind of just typical. I feel like this time we see it coming. You know, in the financial crisis, we didn't. We're just going to go ahead and plug a couple cables in. So I'm going to get the HD audio cable in down here. And again, I will come back later and I'm going to do a better job of cable management. But for right now...
We've got poor Michael here who keeps asking questions about Prime Day, and that's when the curse of the bad buffering seems to happen. So we're going to try again. Let's see if the internet stays this time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Prime Day questions.
Prime Day questions. It's Michael's first build ever. Very
Okay.
cool. Oh, actually, this one isn't even a Prime Day question. How to put the CPU, RAM, and SSD into the motherboard. Okay. What would you do if you're a first-time builder and you want to learn how to actually build?
Watch our How to Build a PC guide on the channel. We go step by step with actually I think, detailed shots of that stuff. We were originally going to redo it for this year. It's still very good. There's not really anything that I would change. The key thing is just be confident. You don't have to worry. Is it possible to damage a CPU? Of course it is. Is it likely that you're going to damage the CPU? Probably not. So I would just say you'll do fine. You'll make some mistakes. Making mistakes is okay. You'll back them out and you'll do it right. And that's really all you need to know. I don't love, oh, I see. We got a whole separate thing for that. Okay, so we're going 24 pin. It's got through the side chamber here, kind of another way to plug it in. A different hole here for it. I am caught. My microphone is caught. So we're just plugging cables in now. Definitely want to get the build together. That is going the wrong way. Okay. I see the problem. I see the problem. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Sometimes you just got to take the cable back out, bend it the way, you know, when it gets twisted up, bend it the way it wants to go. So we want to get this cable in here. 24 pin. There we go. We're going to get the EPS cables. And again, for right now, we're going to do kind of a sloppy job because we just want to get this guy going. I'm going to just bend down here. I should have plugged these in before I installed the PSU, but like an idiot, I did not. I may just need to tilt this up here so I can actually see what's going on. There's the SATA Molex. Of course, it's got to be the bottom ones. Of course, it's all Murphy's Law, right? If I had the other cables, those would be on the bottom. Okay, so this goes up. And again, we'll come back later and we'll do a better job of cable management. But especially given all the technical issues we've had today, we kind of just want to get to the post.
It's a miracle we're all here now.
Yeah, we may actually just... I guess that's the advantage of this system. If you forget, like for instance, I was just talking about making mistakes. I forgot to put the EPS cables in. And the good news is this particular case, backing that mistake out, and I'm not going to get my big fat hands in there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take this guy back off.
Ooh, that's convenient.
Yeah, well, it is and it isn't. Okay, where are we stuck? There we go. We're just going to take them back out. And now I'm going to plug these in where I can actually get my hands in there. So this is a particular, like this build is particularly complex, right? We got an AIO cooler. We've got a dual chamber case. There's a lot of cable management that's going on. If you just want to do like a really basic build, it's not usually this, it doesn't have to be this complicated. So this is why, particularly for things like Boost My Build, when we get these really complicated parts lists and people are like, this is my first build. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like I try and think back to my first build. I mean, my first build was like 1990s, but I try and think back to being a first-time builder or building a PC after I haven't built one for a while. Think, oh my goodness, like how is this person going to get all the cables connected, going to get all this stuff going? It seems like an overwhelming amount. So I always recommend that people pare back. Obviously, this is a high-end build. This is a 9800X3D build. So we don't mind doing something a little bit more complicated. So what we have here is the ARGB. This is going to go to the motherboard. This is from the controller. And then we've got the main PWM from the controller as well. So we just want to find a place to plug these in. I'm going to pretend that there's something here. Are we on the... There we go. Okay, so we're just looking for a good header to plug it into. Got a ton of ARGB headers here. And then I've got a CPU optional fan up there. I like to just make cables looking, because if you're not going to do a cableless build, you're going to have cables. I just like to make them look intentional then. So for instance, if I already have other cables plugged in up here, why not? Oh, I see what's going on. Gotta do that. Okay. So let's go ahead and plug this guy in like right up here. And then let's get this guy plugged in up here, right above the cable. There we go. Okay. What else we got left here? We just got the front panel. So we're going to go with the front panel cable. I love that cases these days are not coming with just like 6 tiny little ones, and it's just one big front panel plug these days, which is super nice because then it just goes in like that. For right now, I'm going to forego the USB. Let's get them plugged in. Piece of cake. It's right there.
OE Agent has more of a comment, but for your opinion on it. I'm afraid that the prices for PC components won't go back down, at least not to what we were used to. Higher base price, new normal.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to take a while for price. Even if AI crashed tomorrow, which actually kind of looked like it started to crash on Friday, right? But let's say it crashes. This is the crash that we've been waiting for. Fingers crossed it is. It's possible to go back up, but it will take prices a while to go back up. Why go back to normal? Why is that? Number one, the RAM companies are mostly making HBM server memory. And you can't use that for a PC. You just can't. Now they'll stop doing that and they'll shift production. But they're also, I think the first thing they're going to do is try and force Microsoft, OpenAI, and everybody else who signed a contract with them to buy the RAM. I think they're going to try and force them to keep buying RAM. Eventually, these companies will wiggle out of those contracts like they always do. Where are we going to go with it? Let's just go for right now. We're going to go right here with this. Excuse me. But if everything crashes this summer, I could see a world by Black Friday where prices come down pretty dramatically. Where basically the hyperscalers renege on all of their agreements to build all these data centers, which they're already doing. But the data centers aren't being built by the hyperscalers. They set up all these like little shell corporations, and they've got all these companies that do this for them. Now those companies are really going to be hurting. But I don't know why this doesn't want to. So I've got this back panel, and it should just screw right in. I'm just kind of going to hide everything for right now. What are we caught on? We're caught on the SATA power. And again, we just want to get to a post, so we want to install the GPU next. Okay, we're going to try this one more time, and then we're just going to give up on it. Why you no work? There we go. Okay. Just needed to be a little rougher with it. And what I'd love to do now is get the GPU installed. But I could see Black Friday, alternatively 2027. Now, just know that the prices that we were paying for RAM and SSDs were, I don't want to say artificially low before, but they were lower. And the reason they were lower is that, during the pandemic, the work from home boom, right? Everybody needed to work from home. Everybody needed a PC. A lot of people decided, hey, I want to build a PC. All that stuff skyrocketed. We had supply chain problems. And so the companies massively overproduced. And then that got satiated, right, to a certain extent. Right? People built their PC, or they bought a PC, or they bought the laptop, or they got their setup at home, and now they're working from home. They don't need to keep buying PCs. That was kind of a one-time big boom. But the RAM and SSD companies, they were just chunking out RAM and SSDs like that was going to continue forever. And when it didn't, some of them almost went out of business because they'd overproduced, and all of a sudden they're selling SSDs for $30 a terabyte. $35 a terabyte is what it got down to for PCIe Gen 3 NVMe drives, which is really crazy. How are we doing on the view? Can we see everything okay? What I'd like to do now is install the GPU. So we've got our GPU. We need to knock out, looks like probably this is a 3 slot. So we're going to knock out 3 slots. And how do we do that? So there's just a screw in the back. Oh my God.
While you're doing that, Crystal was very kindly offering to have us build a PC for content for the channel, and because you're, quote, one of few people that he would have faith in building a PC for him. And I was just explaining that we're not really set up to do custom builds, unfortunately. But just
yeah,
wanted
we
to
don't
share.
do custom personal builds. We don't ship builds also. We haven't really, it's a whole thing, basically. And I
But
don't
we really
think we're going to
appreciate
get into it, but we appreciate the offer. That's why we don't do giveaways for the same reason. It's hard. We're not really, like Jay's 2 cents can do it. And he does a great job with that kind of stuff. But, we don't have the same partnerships that he does. All right, so we're taking out these brackets. Now this is a micro ATX case, so it's just the top 3. Some ATX cases you're actually going to leave in that top bracket, and it's usually the 2nd and 3rd, and possibly the 4th, depending on the GPU that you're using. I may have erred in terms of where I brought the cable in from, so we're just going to do that. So the key thing here is a lot of people get stuck when they're installing a GPU, and they'll get stuck because this part here actually hits the back of the case and they come out of the case. And then they try and force this thing. That's a mistake. Just like be very gentle with it. He said then he busts it off himself. So, okay. There we go. You should hear a click. Don't always hear a click. I like it better when we hear the click. I really don't like where I brought my cable in. There is also the GPU bracket. It looks like we're already hitting the GPU bracket, which is good. Can I just get a little bit more slack? That'll actually do for now. We'll fix this later. Clips on that side, yeah. Okay. Oh, it was duh. Like try putting the screws in first, dummy. I'm like, why does it feel so loose? Oh yeah, I didn't screw it down. Oops. That'll help. Like I said, you're gonna make, like when you're building a PC, if you don't make at least 3 or 4 mistakes, like you're doing something wrong. I feel like maybe you didn't catch your mistakes. It's okay to make a mistake. You just stop, assess what's wrong, and then fix it, basically. And it's no harm, no foul. You're the only one who's ever really going to know. So I make tons of mistakes all the time. I make 12 mistakes before I get out of bed in the morning. So it's okay to make a mistake. You just got to fix it then. Okay, I don't love the way I have routed this cable, but again, we'll work on cables later. Right now, it's kind of, this is the ugly version, right? We've got the ugly version of this with all the cables hanging out. What we'll eventually do is we're going to clean all these cables up so they come in one area here. We'll take this cable. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might even try and run it through there, but I don't want to bend this too much because it's a 12-volt high power cable. I believe I've plugged everything in, although because we had technical difficulties, I was not keeping track. So at this point, we're going to see if we can get a post going. Let's take some junk off the...
While you're doing that,
Yeah.
Ariel had to pop out for dinner because Belgium.
Oh, yeah.
And wanted to clarify, were you implying that there won't be a 5070 Ti Super and that the 5070 Ti will be phased out?
That's what I don't know the 5070 Ti is being phased out. I think it'll remain at that more expensive price point. Again, if the AI bubble bursts tomorrow, all this is out the window. But let's just assume, I think this is where NVIDIA is going with this. 5070 Ti stays around $1,000. It becomes the new 5080 basically in their price lineup. And then they have something to slot in there around $750, which is the 5070 Super. I think that's where they're going with it. The 5070 is not going to go away with 12 gigs of VRAM, but the 5070 will have 5% fewer CUDA cores, and maybe they'll even give it a bigger overclock than they were planning. So maybe it'll draw more power too. Okay, let's see what we can do. Let's get a post going.
You can switch to wide too.
Oh, am I on the overhead? Yeah, let's get the overhead off. All right, let's get a post going. Thank you all for sticking with us through the internet issues that
Y'all
we're
are the
having.
best. We appreciate you.
I don't know why. So it had been that every day I just wake up and I hard reset the router, not the router, the wireless access point. not the wireless access point. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say the modem, the fiber optic modem, basically. And that was working for us. But unfortunately, seemed like today it decided it just was not having a good day. And we should get AT&T out here next week to fix whatever the hell's going on. If not, we will switch to Verizon or somebody else.
No.
They're the only ones who offer fiber out here. And I wanted fiber for the speeds, but if they're not reliable enough.
No, I'm just laughing because Crystal's making the very good point. Wouldn't be a stream without scuff. That's how we know we made it.
Yes.
It's true. It's true.
Yes, it's real. It's all
on brand
real.
for us.
Um,
No AI was used in the making of this live stream.
yeah, exactly. Okay, one minor detail here. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right, so we're going to go. Now, I recommend on your first post, use a USB cable. Remember to connect it to your GPU, although this has an integrated iGPU, so that would be fine. But I recommend using, nobody wants to see the keyboard. Everyone wants to see the monitor. Let's put the keyboard over here. I recommend using HDMI. Maybe DisplayPort has fixed this over time, but I've just had experiences in the past where I'm like, what's wrong? Why am I not getting a video signal? Everything seems like it's working. And then I switched to HDMI and I'm like, oh, it was just DisplayPort being weird for a second. I need power to the monitor. Okay, I think we've got everything except power here. And we'll flip that on in a second. So let's get power. Why? Okay, I was just stuck under the box. So we're going to turn our PSU on. Very important. Again, I'm not. Well, let's make it work first, and then we'll talk about the aesthetics of the build. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, we'll do more questions and stuff after post.
All right.
Ooh, nice.
All right, so we've got that. Now, I reused a drive, so let's just slam the delete key down. You know, I don't know if this is the right power cord for the monitor. Oh, there we go.
Hooray!
There it is. There's our post.
Success.
I can't see it on this side, but it basically probably says 9800 XD, B650M plus. Our RAM is fine. Our SSD is fine. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
And then what we would do now is the next step would be I'd probably turn the PC off. And at this point, I would go ahead and I'm going to clean up all the cable management. I want to get all those cables nice and tight. I typically like to have kind of almost like you strand them together if I can. I don't really care about cable management in the back. I go through this in our how to build a PC guide because nobody's ever going to see it. As long as it's not interrupting airflow, I don't really care. As long as I can't see it and it doesn't interrupt airflow, then who cares? You're really the only person who's ever going to see it. So I'm happy to smash cables in and just put the thing on the back. Sometimes I spend a little bit more time if I feel like it. So, but that's the case. I like the case. Overall, I think it's a nice case. So it's basically top to bottom airflow on it, especially with this setup with a 360. I kind of feel like this is definitely, for a micro ATX case, it's definitely set up for a 360. 240 would be fine too, right? 240 right here would also be fine. I like the GPU bracket. I'm just going to double check. It's not, oh shite.
What's going on?
It's putting pressure on the fan. Okay, well, I can't fix it. You hear that?
How would you fix it in the future?
I would remove it.
Remove the fan?
I would remove the bracket.
Ah.
In fact, let's just make sure that we're not going to damage the fan. So the issue here is that we have a hidden GPU bracket here. However, it's pressing up into the fan. So I'm actually going to remove it, and I would use I'd probably use this. Comes with another kind of stand that I would use to instead. This might make it a little bit difficult with the recessed fans to do one of the. I actually have an ASUS one too, so I'd use something like this basically instead. So this will go under it, maybe out towards the edge, maybe wherever I can get it in between these fans and this fan, because right now, unfortunately, it's pressing into the third GPU fan. It's just something to be aware of. So
A couple of questions before we wrap.
yeah.
Jack got themselves a 9070 XT, the XFX Merc, and just wants to confirm that that was a good choice rather than spending more for the 5070 Ti.
Yeah. I mean, you probably get the XFX Merc for like, I don't know, $690 maybe $700. And you didn't spend $1,000 on an RTX 5070 Ti. This is a great card. The 5070 Ti is a phenomenal GPU. It's not worth $1,000. I don't think so. If you think it's worth $1,000, it's your money. It's not my money, by the way. If you want to spend your money on stuff, who am I to tell you what to get? If you're interested in value, I can make recommendations. But at the end of the day, if you want to buy a 5070 Ti, I'm going to help you do that. Right? Because this is a hobby. It's about getting what you want. It's not about you getting what's correct. So I'm a big believer in that. We want to make sure that you get what you want. If you want a 5070 Ti, that's great. But if you're asking, did I make a mistake by buying a 9070 XT? No, I don't think so at all. In fact, I think you made the right choice.
Cool. Let's see.
Excuse me.
Real Nizal, thus far you've only made GPU recommendations for specific tiers based on budget. Should people get cheapest ones, or is it fine to spend a bit more if the cheapest ones get middling reviews? I think this is a question about models.
That's a question we get all the time. Should I just get the cheapest RTX 5070 Ti out there, or should I spend extra money for a model like this? This is a higher end model that Gigabyte makes. The highest end model they make is the Aorus ones, right? But the gaming OC are typically kind of the upper tier of premium, and then they have like the WindForce, and that's Gigabyte's lineup. Everybody's got a different lineup, right? MSI, Zotac, et cetera, Sapphire on the and XFX on the AMD side, along with ASRock. Usually, what you get for the more premium cards is you get an overclock, you get a beefier cooler. I mean, look at the cooler on this thing. Look at this thing. This is insane, right? This thing is going to run ice cold. Especially if you wanted to try overclocking this, this is probably a card. This is a high-level enthusiast card. You can get cheaper 5070 Ti's for sure with cheaper coolers, and they'll run perfectly adequate at stock settings, or even whatever slight overseed they do. This is a big honkin' cooler. So this is what you get basically. It comes with RGB. There's actually RGB on the fans if you wanted to vertically mount this. It's got a nice RGB light bar to it. I think the construction of the card is excellent. The backplate is actually metal. I believe it even has thermal pads that connect like where the memory dies are to the back of this, so that'll help with the cooling of the memory. It's a nicer card. If I got the WindForce, and again, because it's a Gigabyte card, we're just doing Gigabyte right now, but MSI makes them, Asus makes them, different tiers up. Would it be okay if I just got the WindForce card? Sure. Would I notice the difference? Probably not.
We're buffering again, which seems like we should probably run while the running is good. Sorry if that was not entirely there, Real. He does talk about this as well in the best GPU 2026 video. So if some of that was garbled, feel free to check that out.
Yeah. So.
All right. Nope, false alarm. Okay, I think we're okay.
Apologies today for all the technical difficulties. Again, we're having internet issues at our house/office right now. AT&T was supposed to come fix those for us last week, but they canceled on us at the last minute, which is really frustrating. So sorry about the technical issues.
We'll have it fixed by next time. Next time should be the first day of Prime Day, right? We'll do a members only.
So we're going to do a members only Prime Day stream, and
we'll see if it's members only.
We'll try and make it members only. I don't know. YouTube has decided every time I click members only, everybody's invited. So,
but I'm liking this. I'm kind of liking the members chat. Public
if you want to chat, you need a membership.
Yeah.
If you want to watch, that's what we've been thinking about. But if you want to watch, it's free to watch. Now, obviously, we have a Discord for members where people can post things. We've got all the emojis and stuff like that. And if you make, it's kitty food time. Kitty food. Oh my gosh. So they have feeders that are on a timer and they all just went off. So that sounds like a good time to end the stream then. But thank you all for joining us. If you want to become a member, you can always join. We do fun stuff like this. We'll have a lot of really cool Prime Day stuff coming up, especially if you want to build a PC. I think now is probably the time. fingers crossed AI bubble burst, but that's probably more like 2027. So anything else?
Dark's here. Hi, Dark.
Hey, Dark.
No, I think we'll wrap there. Thanks everyone for being so patient today. We really do appreciate it. And
Yeah, we told them that already,
yeah,
so.
well, I'm thanking them too.
Yes.
And, yeah, we'll pause.
All right, and we'll catch you on the next one. Oop. And then I stepped on the GPU box, so LOL.
Appropriate for the day.
That's very appropriate.